Now what we need is we copy this one for reference, because we'll be copy pasting from this one to the rest of our machine parts. Now the next thing is a very exciting thing that I found in Photoshop, which is if you go to edit, which is if you go to image mode, which is if you go to image adjustment and you say match color. This is an amazing thing, I just found out in Photoshop. So all you need to do is load statistics. So you need to load the statistics of the image that you want to match the color, So first you can also go and there's here to the source as well, and then you can click match color. Like this is the image, it'll match the color with this one. But first we need to collapse the layer so that it's applicable. So we make another layer and just hold shift and we say merge layer, and we name this one our machine 1. Okay, now this is basically the reference image that I want this kind of color or texture to be applied to this. So this is, you can download it from the internet, or anything that you download, and then you can match the color. So you go to image adjustments, and then you say match color, and now you just say load statistics, and then you just name it matching or anything, and then just save it wherever you like and say load. Oops. Oh, sorry. So what you do here is just you go save statistics. So you say matching, and you save it in a directory where you can retrieve it. Save. So now it's saved the statistics. So you say OK, and now we go back to our file, our machine, and then we go to image adjustment, and we say match color, and then we say load statistics. Yeah. So here's our file which says matching sta. So we load it, and as you can see, the color has changed. It has given some nice highlights and also given new tones to our image. So we can also play around with the fade and color intensity, luminance, all these things to get a good effect, or neutralize. So you can load many images and see which one is the best. You can go straight to source as well, and then you have got all these images that you can also match color with. So in this case, I'll say okay, you're fine with this. Now next thing is we need to give it a bit of rough look, So we go and we select the burn tool here, and in burn tool I've got the brush, and let's say just do a rough, with a burn look. So next thing is sharpen tool. This is also a great tool that you can play around with, that kind of roughens up your image. As you can see, that what it's doing is basically looks like as if it's an old machine piece. So let's use the burn tool a little bit more on top of here somewhere so it looks all is right now. Another thing you can apply is you copy this and you go to filter and you go to stylize, render. Okay, another thing you can do is if you want to give it more antique look, then you can just copy this and then select the top one, go to filter and show more menu. You go to stylize, yes, and not stylize, go to sketch and go to sketch and tone edges. Right, so this is what we've got here, the whole menu, our filters. This is our image. So you can balance it, you can smooth it, you know, you can have contrast. So all these parameters here to roughen it up or tear the edges more. So you say okay, and here we are, and the image is, it looks more torn out, you know, worn out. So you go to multiply and it's applied to the image below. So we just turn it up, turn it down. So as you can see now, it looks more like an old piece of machine. So this is the basic. It's a nice layer here. It's our machine first, machine one. Okay, this is our basic method of applying you know, materials and textures and colors to our machine. So I hope you can do the rest with the rest of the images here exactly in the same way that I have done, and then after doing that, then you can, so I hope you can apply the same texture, material, colors in the same way that I have done, and to the rest of the images that you have rendered from 3D Studio Max. Okay, now we have to create some more materials out of this. So all we need to do is centralize it and copy it, turn off this one, and let's select elliptical tool, go in the middle, click, hold Shift, Alt, and make a circle, make another copy, and then we fill the circle with color, which is if you hold Alt and then click Enter, and then click, sorry, if you click hold Alt and backspace on your keyboard, you'll fill the color, whatever color is here. Now let's centralize it with this. Click, hold Control, and then click here. So select the whole thing, and then you select this layer, and then we can centralize it very easily. To centralize this circle here, what you need to do is hold Control on your keyboard and click here. You'll select it, and then you select the machine that you want to centralize it to, and it is centralized. Now in this one we don't need basically central part. Maybe we want to delete all this, so you again hold Control on your keyboard, select this and select the layer, you know, a bit underneath, and then just press delete. So we've got a new shape here, as you can see. We'll name this shape 2. Okay, let's create another shape that will come here in the middle part. Go to circle, Alt Shift. Okay, let's create another shape for the circle part here, which is basically a screw. So we've got a basic shape here. So we click rectangular marker tool, and we cut this in the middle. Another layer, select another layer by clicking here. So Control backspace. Basically we have filled it up, and now what we need to do is duplicate this layer and select the one on the top and then delete. So basically we've got our screw here. Now what we do is let's delete this one and apply. Go to Control, select the layer that has got all the layer styles, click on it, right click and say copy layer style, and then apply to this one saying paste layer style, and again you apply it to the one underneath, paste layer style. Okay, so now we'll do the color match thing again with this one as well. Okay, to apply color match to this, it shouldn't have the layer styling. So what you need to do here is let's select the one underneath and change its layer style to a bit darker color. Yeah. Okay, merge these two layers here, and then we go to image adjustments and match color. We load statistics, matching. So here we are. And then we again go through the same procedure of applying burn tool and this tool, and then apply the effect to get the desired effect as shown in the previous method. So we'll name this screw. Okay, this is our screw. So next is we just turn on our reference image, and in this reference image let's make some more draw some more shapes. So if we go to pen tool, and then we just first make this shape. Hold. So I'll quickly make a rough one so that you can, in your own time, make a proper. So this is our first basic shape. Turn off, we go to parts, we select it, and we just fill it up. Now what we do is we again copy the layer style from here and we paste it on top. And we go through the same method of color matching and one more thing here. Let me show you. Control D, selected. Control D. So the more shapes you make, the better it is, you know. So you've got the reference picture here, so then you make this shape here, and then you make this shape here in the same way that I have done this. This shape. And what you need to do is then we'll in After Effects we'll just, if you copy, select it, Alt and Control copy, and then in After Effects we will reduce the size. I'm just showing to you how it is going to be in After Effects. This is how we'll put them in the middle. Apply. This is how we'll play around with them in After Effects. So let's delete it. Oops. So you've got all other shapes to work with, you know. So this is the main method I've shown you to create a shape, you know, texture, color, and how to roughen it up. So I assume you can do the rest, and then I assume you can do the rest. So I have made this comp here, this file where I have created some more shapes, which is, I assume, very easy, you know, to create. So the more shapes you create, the better it is, you know, these parts here, and so that we can finally take them in After Effects. So all very simple shapes. You know the method how to do it, so I assume you can do it in your own time, because this procedure is a bit lengthy, so that's why I made it and so that's why I made it very quickly. This procedure is very lengthy, so that's why I had to make it like this. And now what we will do is we'll import the whole composition into After Effects and start our animation. So I'll see you all in After Effects. Okay, while you guys were away, so I have made this file on my own time, because this is a very lengthy procedure, so I assume you can take your time and use the method that I have shown you to come up with this kind of texture, color, and mapping in Photoshop. So now what we will do is we just save a Photoshop file with our layers in it. Make sure that the layers are merged. They are not like with the effects, because then we can't. We can actually import them into After Effects, but then there'll be like more layers with it, you know, more layer styles with it. So we just merge them into single layers, so that's easy for us to just import them into After Effects. So let's so I'll see you guys in After Effects. Okay, here we are in After Effects. So this is the final comp. This is what we'll make in a second. Okay, I took the liberty of importing the layers from Photoshop that we made earlier. So these are the layers from Photoshop. The way how you import it is just double click here, and then you click watch whatever the Photoshop file is, and then come down here and say crop layers, and then you just open. When you open, you will get all the layers. Yeah. So now okay, let's make a new comp here, and 1024.576 is the widescreen square pixels. Okay, let's make a new layer here. Time to 0500 and 1024 by 576 pixels. Okay, so let's start arranging our machine parts, one by one. So let's say first, let's drag this in, and now let's start making different comps for the machine parts one by one. So let's take this one first, drag into a comp, and this is our first part here. And now we need to have screws on top of it, so we'll drag there it is. So I put this here on top, reduce the size down. So I say Control D, again Control D, and Control D. Reduce the size to 1. Okay, we can also animate the screws here. Okay, let's first rotate them a little bit so that they all look different from one another. Okay, now we can just animate them as well. So we click here, and then we go to, let's say, 6 frames, and turn back. Control C on your keyboard, Control V. So this is how you'll be like turning. So you'll write a small expression here. Click Alt on the timeline, on the time watch, and write loop out brackets okay, we select them all, press F9. Okay, we select them all, right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease. Okay, now we'll write a small expression. I'll click here and write loop out bracket type is equal to cycle. So what will happen is, it will keep on looping like that. Okay, now we just copy this, Control C, and Control V, and Control V. So they all look similar, so we just come here and change these so that they don't look similar. So as you can see, they're animated. Okay, let's go towards our next step. This is our first panel, panel 4. Now let's make another panel here, which is panel 3. Drag it in a comp, and again we just go to panel 4 and we just copy this, Control C, and come back to panel 3 and we say Control V. Control V. Sorry. Then we go to panel 4, Control C, go back to panel 3 and we say Control V. So we've got our bolt here. Increase the size to 100. Okay, we'll get our next bolt, which is a bit bigger, and we'll put it here. We do the same thing with it, rotate it. Control C and V. And then we write a small expression, the same one. Loop out. Brackets. Type is equal to cycle. So what it does is just uses these keyframes here and just keeps on cycling it, as you can see. So we've got our basic shapes. So we've got basically 2 panels. Now what we'll do is use the other panels, this one, drag it, and then we'll again, since we have got the screws already made, so we go to panel 4, composition, and we say Control C from here, and we go to the new panel and we paste Control V, and we just increase the size. Then we say Control D, again Control D, and then Control D. So you've got our basic screws here. So you go to R again, press R on your keyboard and move this, let's say 58, and this to 58 as well. So I want them to be, you know, be as symmetrical, because they're a bit symmetrical right now. So you go to R and we say 88, press 88. So now as you can see that they all look different. Now let's go towards our new shape, which is this. Make another composition here. Again, we'll put our bolts, screws here. Go to panel 3, get the big one, bolt 2, Control C, and then we come back to H13, Control V. Alright, so I just reduce the size. And Control D on your keyboard again, and S on your keyboard for scale, control it down, and then again Control D. It's got our basic movement in it. So we go to R on your keyboard, Let's turn this to -74. Let's see what happens. So it moves on the other side. Let's see. This to -50. Okay. So far so good. So basically building up our shapes, so that we can put in one comp and then we can adjust them according to the camera. Okay, let's see what else do we have got here. Okay, this is a dial. It doesn't need anything, so we'll just put straight into the comp. And this is another one. I quite like this one. Okay, and we put our screw here as well. We copy this screw from here, Control C, and we come to cog 6, Control V. I hope you guys are following me. It's a very simple method, just cutting, pasting, So in this one I want this to spin as well. So what I'll do is go to R, Control C, and come back and select this layer underneath and say Control V. So as you can see now, this is also moving. Need to adjust the movement. Control R. So it comes here. Let's say we just put 50 here, because if you notice the machinery inside the watch, it doesn't spin, one complete revolution. It's to and fro movements like this. Okay, let's see. So as you can see, this is a good movement. And let's select all these, right click, ease key, or F9. You can also just select these and select F9. So the motion is. You also need to turn on the motion blur for it, for the file comp. So this is basically a kind of movement that is in the machinery of a watch. So you have to have a a reference, lots of reference, so that you know exactly what you're doing. There's not like an exact like inside a machine, inside a watch, but if it's close by, then it's fine. Okay, let's make another one. This is another one that we have. And change this to, do the same thing we did. We go to cog 6, we get the bolt from here, Control C, and we go back to cog 5 and C, Control V. Okay. You do the same, go to Control C and come back and Control V. So we've got our basic cog, basic screw here. So press R again, Control C and Control V. And let's change the movement and change it to, let's say, -50 this time. So we want all of them to spin in different directions, So change this to -50 as well. Yeah. Okay. Another thing that I want to do is I just copy this one, Control D, and double click this and import this one cog inside this one, so that just change the size down, so that just give it different variation, as if, you know, they are different kind of this is a different kind of a shape. So go to R here, Control C and Control V. I want to have a different movement to this, give it a different movement, so we just click here and say 50. So as you can see now, it looks better this way. So we are building up our shapes so that we can put it in the final comp. So let's go, bear with me, don't lose patience. Okay, so this is our next cog, make a new comp, and basically this one, we leave this one as it is, but we can add something to it. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's put this one inside this and see how it looks. So I'm just playing, you know, with the shapes here to get different shapes. Let's see, Control V, because we still have that in our memory. Yes, Control V, yeah, and then Control V again, and change this to, let's say, -70, and change this to 70. Let's see, that looks cool. Cool. Okay, let's add one more thing in it. Let's see what we have, you know. I just want to see what else we can put inside. Okay, let's add this one. Alright, that looks cool now. That looks very good. Okay, and Control V here as well. And we'll change the rotation for this as well. Get a different rotation. 80 is fine. Okay, now let's try something like 90, because I want it to spin fast as well. Okay, cool. Let's put our bolt inside, the big one, import it, put in here, and again Control V. It has got the rotation values in its memory, so I'm just doing Control V. So as you can see now, so you've got nice shapes here. We'll also turn on motion blur for this, and let's turn on the 3D layer for this one, and I want these to be, you know, in different positions. Okay, a bit above the other one, and this one P, bit below. That's fine. So as we zoom in, it gives us a 3D kind of a feel. Okay, so far so good. You need to don't forget to turn on the motion blur for all of them. Okay, let's see what else we have got here. Right, there's the background. Well, so far so good. Now we can just merge them all in one comp, you know, and start our animation. Okay, here we are in our comp. Okay, let's make a new comp. We call it machinery, and it's 1024 by 576. PAL widescreen square pixels, 5 seconds. There we go. Let's put our first piece here. Let's put our second panel here. Okay, and turn on the 3D layers for this. Okay, and let's put our background. No. Reference image for this, so that we know what we're doing. Just roughly adjust it. We just put this one here. Okay, this one here. We also turn on our camera. 35mm, say okay. Now we have got our camera, and we import a new null object as well. What we'll do is attach the camera to the null object. Now we can just zoom in and out, see how it looks. Okay, let's bring our dial of the watch. That is turn on 3D layer for this as well. Reduce the size of the roughly just put it there somewhere. Control P, and this is our other panel. Okay, let's bring the next shape in and turn on the 3D layer for this, and we move it back. Turn off the 3D layer for the reference image. Okay, so we move this back. You can see they are animated as well. Let's bring the other one in. Move this down. Turn on the 3D layer for this. Move this back. Move the other one further down. Press C on the keyboard, and you'll just get the camera, zoom in and out. Okay, let's import this part. This is a very important part here. Turn the 3D layer for this. And we go to R and change the rotation for this. Change the color. Select the layer, bring it here somewhere. Turn off the other layers to see where it is in our reference image. Okay, let's put our shape. It's roughly here somewhere, so just rotate it more, and bring here somewhere. Turn on all other layers back. All of the panels. Let's change the position for this. Move the other ones. Move this one back. As you can see, it's a very lengthy procedure because what you do is you just keep on changing them and their positions and putting them in different places just to get the right feel. Okay, let's see what else we've got. We've got this here, import it, turn on the layer, 3D layer for this, and move it back. Press P on the keyboard and move it back, and this time we'll just change its position as well. Here somewhere. So as the camera is moving in, we are seeing these, the other ones. Make sure that it doesn't go out of the dial. So we just reduce the size here and there, so that all of them shouldn't look like the same size. Just turn down okay, now we can just turn off our reference layer and work with So as you can see, this whole part here, it looks a bit empty. So what we can do is add another panel to it, another dial which is a bit smaller than I remember. Let me just find out. Yep, this is another one that we can put here. Okay, we go to P position and here we go. Okay, copy this P and put it back here because we want to fill this space up, you know. Control D, P, and we just push it back more because as the camera is moving, you want to see all these things, you know, in 3D space. Push this back furthermore. Now select this one. Here's some Control D. Bring it here. Change the rotation so it looks different. Control S. Increase the size. As you can see that the space looks a bit filled up. Now let's bring this shape in as we've not used it yet. This is a cool shape. So we go to S, turn on the 3D layer for this and press P again. Now okay, that looks nice. What you can do is push it back, press P, and you gotta move the camera as well and see, you know, how other things are. So now need to push it back more so that as the camera is moving back, need to change the camera point of interest further down, because otherwise it stops at one point. Right, press P now, go back to single view, and now you can see if you go back, you just pass through the camera. So there's a space here, so let's move this one further up, yeah, so that as the camera is moving you see this. And what's with the rest? Make a copy of this and Control D and push it back and change its position as well. Let's see how it looks. Alright, so is it moving? It's animated as well, so it looks cool. Don't forget to turn on the motion blur for all of them. So far so good. So as you can see, all we need to do is just fill it up now, fill this whole space up so that it looks like as if it's got a lot of complex machines inside. I hope you understand why I'm doing all this, because we need to fill up the whole space here so that